Islam, big baby. It's the fifth corner pimp coming at you, you know what I'm saying? Noble Moorish guard, aka Sultan Shaheed Akbar Lael, also known as the fifth corner pimp. You put nigga minds proper. There's been a lot of talk lately about a so-called race war in the United States of America between so-called white people and so-called black people, because there's been a lot of cop killings by so-called white cops against so-called black men, and now it's been retaliation killings by so-called black men against so-called white cops. So everybody's up in arms talking about it's going to be a race war in the Union Society of the United States. You know what I'm saying? That shit is a myth. A myth is a lie, and it's part of the foolishness and fuckery part 3. I'm gonna give y'all a little history on something, you know what I'm saying? This is from the Clock of Destiny, volume 1, page 15 by C&B. He says, the generations of the outcast blind, so-called white, sons and the subjugated Moorish women, 9 out of every 10 of the so-called, quote, white people, unquote, of the world today have either black or brown eyes or black hair, which represent the stamp of the Moorish or Asiatic mothers. The people referred to as Japanese, Latin, Mexican, Chinese, Italian, Spanish, Turk, Indian, Arabian, Syrian, Russian, Eskimo, and all other similar island people are the generation of kinky hair, Moorish or Asiatic fathers, and Pythagorean, blind, so-called white, mothers during the early rise of the Order of Islam 1363 years ago. Alright? So what the brother is saying right there is that 9 out of 10 so-called white people have the Moorish, who is referred to today as the so-called black people, Negroes, African Americans. They have our stamp on them. So there's no such thing as no pure white race, all right? First of all, to be having a so-called race war, all right? Now I'm gonna give you this here from J. Rogers, section race, volume 3, you know what I'm saying? Page 119. This is what he says. He says certain Europeans, nations, hate one another as bitterly as the lyncher hates a Negro. In fact, hate between white and black is almost nothing in comparison with the hate that has existed in Europe between white and white. Since the first Punic War of 264 BC, the whites have had 2,200 years of almost continuous wars amongst themselves. A fact that those who talk about the inherent incapability between white and black have ignored entirely. See what I'm saying? You see, I have met Frenchmen and Belgians, even Englishmen, who prefer the blackest Congolese to the whitest German. In Ireland too, the porters of the Orange and the Shamrock are far less friendly to one another than Southern whites and Negroes. The autocracies committed on both sides in Ireland immediately before the First World War showed how very strong white people of the same general appearance can hate one another. Alright? The true communist too has much stronger feeling against capitalism than color. I recall one evening at a dance given by white radicals in New York, at which there were many Negroes. I overheard one of the later telling a white woman how he had been to the Tammany Hall dance a few nights before. This Negro was known as a radical, and the white woman, quick shock, wanted to know how a radical could constantly go to a capitalist dance. Soon after, the Negro asked her to dance, and she readily consented. Alright? As I listened to the conversation, I could imagine this same woman with a religious or racial or political bias saying instead, I wouldn't dance with sinners, and I don't see how any God Christian could, or I wouldn't dance with Negroes or Germans or Frenchmen or Jews or Republicans, as the case may be. All right. White people have even been known to divide themselves into colors and then set out to butcher one another. All right. Once the people of Florida divided themselves into whites and blacks, and assassinations was common. Dante and 8 Blanchard, as we will recall, was sent to a burnt alive by the Negro. There was also the struggle between the whites and the reds, the Wars of the Roses, which lasted in England from 30 years, and it may be set down that whenever a red heard a white mention, he instinctively repugnance, sprang into action just as effectively when some white American hears mention of a black. This applied equally force to a red Russian and a white one. Alright? Now that's so-called white folks fighting amongst themselves in the annals of history, nations. But yet these people talking about a race war. That's mythology, dude. Don't fall for the trap. Some bullshit. Alright? Let me continue. He said again, many light-complected Negroes have an adversity for darker Negroes that is fully as strong as the average white American as in the West Indies, even in the United States. And this predisposition towards white on the part of certain blacks and mulattoes, while Christians are always in the part. All right? So, you know, like he's saying in the book, Sex and Race, Clock of Destiny, you know, the masses of the people in the United States ignorant, you know what I'm saying, to nationality, to proper law, jurisprudence, things like that. So they use this white and black stuff as a psychological test. You know what I'm saying? You know, just like a chess game. You play on the black side, you play on the white side, you know. But we know it won't be no race war because race don't exist. And the people that's perpetrating race and perpetrating color is hiding the fact that the economy is fucked up in the Union Society. The economy is fucked up around the world. And it's an economical thing. The money is bad, y'all. So they got to keep you fighting or keep you looking at some bullshit while they slickly change the currency. The Fifth Corner Pimp talking to you, Sultan Shaheed Akbar Lael. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned because there's more to come. This is part 3 of Foolishness and Fuckery, you heard me? Peace. Islam.